Okay, so you mentioned NLP.
Yeah.
Here's what I know about NLP. Please fill in the blanks. What I know about NLP is that most of the most successful coaches on the planet have trained in it and utilize it. And that is all I know. What is NLP? I know it's neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah.
But like, do you do it on yourself? You do it on someone else?
I guess you can do it on yourself. I guess I do it on myself a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, this guy, Richard Bandler, started it way back when.
Okay.
So there's amazing stories of these people that not too long ago figured these things out. Like, and Milton Erickson, like the godfather of hypnosis, he was in an iron lung. And all he could do was like watch people. He had polio, so they put him in an iron lung and put him in the living room.
Shout out to the polio vaccine.
Right? Yeah.
I know that like vaccines are a little controversial right now, but like I'm a real big fan of the polio vaccine.
Right?
Yeah. And then just friendly reminder that if you get polio, you can end up in an iron lung.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they'd still put you in
Probably
an iron
not,
lung.
but I don't know what the new technology would be.
Poor old Milton got polio.
God bless Milton.
And I like to think I find some like real similarities between Milton and I. So
what?
Well, he got polio. I didn't get polio.
And we still don't know what you got.
No.
Wild.
I think I got a cosmic teaching. Yeah.
You want to name it something really fun? You want to brainstorm what this so we can invent it.
Yeah. Everybody wants to give their illness a name. Right. You feel so much better when you give it a name.
You have something like that's its own spiritual teaching. You not know what the fuck is happening. Like talk about surrender.
It's fucking serenity now. Give it a name. And when you can't give it a name, then how do you transcend the fear of what could happen in the unknown?
And that's the cosmic joke, is that it's all unknown.
And the most amazing things could happen in the unknown. Without this illness, I would not be here with you today.
Where would you be, you think?
In jail.
Really?
With a drug addiction. Yeah.
Like opiates? Opiates?
Whatever I could get my hands on.
Yeah, just anything to numb it.
Or I would be a high school hero, college, trying to relive the glory days of my sporting career, thinking that I was stronger and better than I actually was. Yeah, I'm so grateful for everything that's happened.
I am moving through a 3-month portal with a beloved friend who I betrayed and lied to and stole from. What?
You did.
I did.
To the friend.
Uh-huh. And it has allowed me to see my shadow, kind of for the first time at 45 years old. And I'm like, oh, I get why it's a shadow. I get why we put it in a place that we can't see it, because it's unseeable. I couldn't, my sense of self was not big enough to hold the reality that I was capable of doing that. And so it was fully unconscious behavior. It wasn't intentional, but I did it.
Right.
And it has been brutal and painful to feel so embarrassed and ashamed of my behavior to someone that I love and respect. And the denial and the just all the flavors of it. And we're almost through the portal. We're about to sign an agreement and bring it into the light and bring it into integrity and do reparate. We've been a portal. And I am now, I can genuinely say that I am at the place where I'm I am so glad that happened.
Wow.
I am so grateful for this initiation.
Yeah.
Because I trust myself more now.
Yeah.
And I think, and I didn't really understand viscerally what shadow work was, if I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. I do it when I meditate because the body is purging stress on the but it's happening on a cellular level and a pre-verbal level.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a mental construct for what it felt like.
The painfulness of the actual conscious shadow work.
Ugh.
Yes.
It really sucks.
Well, I'm glad that happened for you.
Thank you. So it's not 20 years of physical pain, but it was 3 months of intense emotional pain.
No, emotional pain. I don't know which I'd choose, physical pain or emotional pain.
I would choose emotional.
Yeah.
I hate physical
That's torment.
Yeah.
That's torment.
So NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Neuro-linguistic programming, Richard Bandler was this guy. He created it, much like Milton Erickson, who was in the iron lung. He was put in there and he just kind of watched people. And he by just watching people being incapacitated, he could understand what made them tick. And he started to do this thing called conversational hypnosis, where you and I would be talking like this, and then all of a sudden you'd be in a trance and he'd be giving you suggestions.
Consensually or non-consensually?
He could do it non-consensually, as we all can.
We all can?
Yes.
Whoa. Hypnosis rape? Is that what we're talking about?
Non-consensual hypnosis.
Okay. Fun fact, I took an orgasmic hypnosis training where I would like...
I could give you an orgasm with hypnosis easily.
Great. Is that what you like to do at the end of the episode? Stay tuned, folks.
That's probably not in my bag of tricks right now. I'm not.
Okay.
Right, yes. Okay, NLP. So Richard Bandler, but moving right along from orgasmic erotic hypnosis to
back to our friend Richard in the Iron Lung. Oh no, Milton was in the Iron Lung.
Milton. No,
Okay.
Richard, like Erickson was in the Iron Lung.
Okay.
All right, Bandler started this thing called NLP, and then he and this other guy really got it going. But like the absolute pro, the most powerful, like king of it all was Tony Robbins, who studied with him.
Of NLP. Mm-hmm. And is that why you think so many coaches do NLP, because of Tony?
Well, he coined the term coach
Okay.
25 years ago.
So master of NLP and creates the idea of coaching.
Of coaching, and then everybody becomes coach and like goes to get NLP and that kind of stuff.
So like, what is NLP?
It is a way to allow your mind to change and release the friction of what it is. You embed a command by reducing the resistance of your own mind.
Can you do that to me right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, here's an example. You know, your hair is beautiful.
Thank you.
Good. You can receive a compliment, but did you believe that was completely honest and you just let it come in and out?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I wonder if you know that the curls of your hair are probably, you know, maybe the nicest part of what I'm looking at right now.
You wonder if I know that.
How did that feel? Did it feel any different when I said that?
It felt more elevated, more specific. It felt more fun.
Well, you're thinking about it a lot more.
Okay.
You're thinking about the curls of your hair.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is true that they really look that nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it allows you to get through the resistance, or someone who can't accept a compliment at all and be like, no.
I'm great at receiving compliments.
Right. But so you allow it with a perhaps, I wonder if, a question format. You allow someone to then answer the question in their subconscious mind themselves with embedding a command as well. So that could be a really positive command, but say you ask the question and embed the command.
You ask the question and embed the command.
Yeah. And then you get people to start to feel the future state. Like, I wonder what will it feel like when the fear of this issue with like your pinched nerve or whatever, what will it feel like when that issue is over?
Liberating.
Yeah. Feel liberating. Mm-hmm. And so if it was to feel liberating, you know, what do you really need for liberation?
A decision?
Yeah. And what do you need to make a decision?
What do I need to make a decision?
Mm-hmm.
Like a gnosis? Like a body knowing?
Okay. So if your body did know right now, what would it say?
That it wants to be liberated.
Okay. And so if even higher than that, say if God knew right now what the decision is, what would that decision be?
Of liberation or not liberation?
Of whatever decision you think that you need.
If I'm being honest, I think I lost the thread on why I said I needed a decision. Like I could again, I just because I could have bullshit that one, and I'm really working on my integrity.
Yeah, no, all right,
and I
good.
forget why I said a decision.
Okay.
Because you were like,
I don't know. You
what-
said it.
I think because you were like, what would it take to like change it? And I think I would just have to like decide.
Yes. Well, perhaps that wasn't the best.
Can we go again? Let's go again. I believe in us.
I think that the best point to make here is that a lot of what NLP is compassionate inquiry that removes the resistance of your subconscious mind so you can see the potential of a new pathway.
And so if someone's doing like an NLP would you do a session in NLP, or is it something it's a tool that you work into something else?
It's a tool that I work into all the coaching. It's a language.
It's a way that you speak.
It's a way that you speak.
I'm not like going to do an NLP session like I'm going to do a hypnosis session.
No, you do a coaching session, you'll integrate some NLP into it.
Okay. This makes sense.
Yeah, so it's a way that you speak.
Okay.
And a lot of it is understanding and getting people to understand what the truth is.
Yeah.
And the truth is, for example, like someone who may have low self-esteem could be because they're not enough or they don't think they're good. And it's kind of like, what is the truth of that? Like, where does that live? Is there something inside you? If I was to operate, would I find like a gland that is not good enough, or that like this particular episode, whatever they bring up? And you start to show them that like, oh, okay, there is a different reality here, and it's manufactured in a belief, and beliefs aren't real. Those are all just software put into the program.
What's the like most fixed or most intense belief that you've had that you've been able to transform through hypnosis and in your work?
I am bad.
I am bad. Like you believe fundamentally, I am bad.
I think a lot of people have this belief that like I am bad. And I had that myself, which I've largely overcome. And it's usually children of abusive childhoods, of abusive parents.
Yeah. So if you have ever thought, I am ready for more out of life, more energy, better sleep, deeper human connection, or simply the ability to handle stress like a total boss, then Ziva is for you. So at Ziva, we combine modern science with ancient wisdom to create tools that actually work. Because stress is costing you much more than you realize. It can steal your focus, drain your energy, and keep you from showing up as the human that you know you're meant to be. That's why over 60,000 high performers, CEOs, athletes, parents have turned to Ziva. Our programs don't just teach you skills, they help you master your life. They help you embody your highest potential. So whether you're brand new to this or ready to take your life and your practice to the next level, the best place to start would be Ziva meditation. So in just 15 minutes a day for 15 days, you're gonna learn a practice that will remove stress from your body and transform the way you feel and function every single day. And right now, I'm gonna give you a gift, 15% off, which you can use at checkout by entering the code WHYTHIS. So all you need to do is go to zivameditation.com, find the course that is right for you, because I'm so excited to share these tools with you. I've dedicated my whole life to refining these practices and making them as fun, attractive, and accessible as possible. So go to zivameditation.com and enter the code WHYTHIS on the course that feels right for you, and I will see you inside. And can you give us a window? I know you do the group work, but can you give us a window into, like, let's say I become one of your NDA fancy clients.
Okay.
Like, what would you do? What is your bag of tricks? What are you working?
I would let you talk.
I love talking.
I would let you talk, and then I would start to understand the words that you use. I would listen very carefully to. We all have our own dialects, and so I'd start to understand the words that you use. And then I'd look at your face and your body as you use those words to figure out what kind of real emotion was attached to it. And so we'd start to see when you use that word, what the real belief is, and then what chemistry in your body is it creating.
How can you tell what chemistry is being created in someone's body?
Well, you start to use a lot of I ams, or you kind of whatever it is, right? And then kind of you can see someone like either tighten up or look down or whatever it is for guilt and shame, and then we know what chemistry that creates. It's cortisol. I don't know the exact chemistry.
Probably
but,
adrenaline.
What's happening in their body, and so that's part of it. And then we can start to see the trigger words that are used, and so in
their words that are triggering that
in the stories, and then so consciously I can call out, okay, this is what's happening with that. Use NLP to reframe it as if, what would it feel like if you no longer had this issue, so that they start to feel like, what would life be like if you no longer had this issue, and so they start to see a different horizon, and then in hypnosis we can actually go in and start to change those stories, and change using the words that you use. I can speak to your subconscious.
And are you able to do that now just like by practice, like you can remember it, or are you taking notes? And
Sometimes I'll take some notes, but you should see my pad. There's like a scribble here with a circle.
of like, this is the language, this is the key, this is the anchor.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and then when you can get someone, which I think you do a lot of this too, and when you can get someone to a point where then you're like floating in space and funneling energy through each one of your chakras, like a blessing of the chakras or something like that, and people can like really lock things in and connect.
So you'll like do the hypnosis, address the issue, and then flood the body with pure love or whatever.
I'll flood the body with pure energy, and then we will go into the state.
The state where they want to be.
Then we will go into the issue.
Oh, you flood it first.
Flood it into the state that we want them to feel. Go into the issue. Either do what I call a quantum leap, and meaning like I had a woman that she had this really difficult experience with her father that she really wanted. And like we went into hypnosis in that really powerful state and completely reframed that into the loving way she would have wanted him to act.
Yeah.
And she couldn't remember the old issue anymore.
Really?
It changed a lot for her, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then we'll add some suggestions in there so that we start, and then some anchors.
What does that mean? Add suggestions, add anchors.
So we can add suggestions for your conscious mind to think about, like positive suggestions.
While you're in the hypnosis state,
right.
While you've accessed the subconscious mind, the 95%.
Yes. So adding suggestions that will help you, whether they're a story or something else, will help you start to see a different way of being or release something. And then you can add anchors, which are these anchors where either color. The first time when someone used an anchor on me, they said, like, it had me find my color. It was green. And then it had me feel
What does that mean, your color? Like if you thought about green or saw color, you're going to tell me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now if I saw the color green, I would feel like ecstasy. So happy, bliss. And so for a few weeks afterwards, every time I saw green, I was like giggling to myself.
Really?
Yeah. And that's an anchor. Cool. And so you can actually like, if someone has like stage fright or sports issues or whatever it is, you can do touch type of anchors where things can change.
I think I have a very inappropriate anchor to share.
Okay.
Can I get your consent on this to share an inappropriate anchor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it?
So in my orgasmic hypnosis session, shout out to David Mears, who's like I think he kind of invented orgasmic hypnosis. By the way, this man is in extraordinarily high integrity. I originally heard of his work through friends, and I was like, I have these visions of taking like stadiums full of people climaxing at the same time, holding a vision for the species. And the most recent vision is like 13,000 people climaxing at the pyramids, like holding a vision for the species, reactivating the antennas and sending that frequency into the ley lines in the throat chakra of the planet. And so I don't know where these are coming from. They're not fully fleshed out, but they're coming in hot. And so when I saw David's work, I was like, oh, this would help me a lot. Because like if I could bring them into orgasm without them touching themselves, like I violate a lot less laws. We have to deal with less lube.
Totally.
It's like a lot cleaner. Like Egypt's still a Muslim country. So like, it really helps transcend a few logistical nightmares. So I was like, hey, can we get on a FaceTime? And I just need to like look in this man's eyes to be like, are you
legit?
Because like the room for abuse there is wildly high.
Huge.
And so when I saw in his eyes, I was like, oh, this man's just a hypnosis nerd. Like he's just like nerding out about the brain. And like he has a beautiful girlfriend he's devoted to. So I was like, great, let's go. Yeah. And so like I could feel that his intentions were pure in this work. And I think that sexual energy is like the most sacred, the most holy. And so anyway, he and his girlfriend came and stayed with me. And he did a session, and it was originally just going to be like a hypnosis session, but I mean, he had consent to like if it went erotic, fine. And then later on, he and his girlfriend tied my friend and I in shibari, and then did orgasmic hypnosis while we were tied, which is very good for me because I am getting better at surrendering.
Okay.
Did you like how I did that?
Yes.
Anyway, he put an anchor on the tip of my tongue that it would be like as sensitive as my clitoris. And I was like, this is such a good anchor that you could have like, and people can do this. I mean, I know that in like when you do de-armoring and things, like you can anchor pleasure points where it used to be painful or like, and it's wild where you could just like, oh, and then on my shoulder, just like the tip of my shoulder would just be like, oh, now this is an erogenous zone. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like the brain is
So powerful. in that way,
fascinating.
right?
And so, I mean, you did that with the color green, right? It's like you anchored green as pleasurable. And so I just want to like let people know, like, just like, let's expand our reality of what is possible when we
Totally.
start to play in this playground of the subconscious mind.
Absolutely. When you start to remember what it feels like to have that sensory experience, and then you're able to buy into like a touch on the shoulder being that memory triggered, because I think that like sex and intercourse, it's not physical. It's like that's fine. I don't know the percentage, but that's a very low percentage of what's happening there.
Yeah.
You're intertwining energetically.
Yeah.
It's all mental. It's like all those things have to like are more powerful than the physical touch in any way.
I agree. Like for me, the reason why I play with sexual energy is just this beautiful pathway to the divine.
Yeah.
Like I'm not that interested in like the 3D sex of it. Like I'm not like a sex coach, but I'm just like, hey, here's this beautiful internal pharmacy that nature has installed in every single one of us that we can utilize as a pathway to bring the frequency of heaven to earth and to bring the frequency of earth to heaven. Wow. So it's like, why would we not be doing that?
Right.
Especially when you look at all the suffering on the planet. It's like, wait, did you guys know that like this is an option? Like, did you know that actual like 24-hour ecstasy and bliss is on the menu? Like we could be doing that.
We got that going for us. Right?
Yeah.
I wonder why has sex been so vilified? So like,
I know.
right, so hidden. Why? Tell us.
Pick me.
Tell us.
Okay, so Layla Martin taught me this. Layla's my best friend. And when I was like, what is Tantra? And she said, Tantra is finding God where you thought it was not. And I love it. It feels like such a big definition in a small amount of words, finding God where you thought it was not. And I think that's why the reclamation can be so powerful when people start to study sacred sexuality, because so many people have had it compartmentalized and shamed. And I think that the reason why specifically sexual energy and oftentimes female sexuality has been so repressed and so shamed is that people who remember how creative and how powerful they are very hard to control.
Yeah.
And like, look, I mean, politics and religion is like their control mechanisms, right?
Totally.
Like to some degree, great. We need order. We need like schools and roads and, we don't want like absolute lawlessness. But I actually believe that if more people had this, like, God is already democratized, but more of like a conscious awareness of the democratization of God, that we all are plugged into the divine, that we all are extensions of the divine, and we were living that in our bodies, that we would need less boundaries and structures and rules and infrastructure, because if I'm living in a state of ecstasy and bliss, like to hurt you would immediately hurt me.
Right.
And to help you would immediately help me. So we would be living the golden rule. We wouldn't need the Bible to tell it to us and to pay 10%
back
of our...
to oneness. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pay 10% of what?
Our income, like tithing. You know what I mean? We don't need to I don't need someone to tell me that I'm going to hell if I rob my neighbor. I rob my neighbor. It doesn't feel good to me.
Right.
I help my neighbor. It feels good to me.
We already have that built into our system.
Yes, correct. Unless it's like a very small percent of the population that is sociopathic by nature and does not feel that. Right. Those people, cool. We put them on an island somewhere.
Someone asked me the other day, is it like, is it selfish that I feel so good? Am I doing this work just because it feels so? Not me personally. They were asking for themselves.
For themselves.
Am I doing this work simply because it feels so good when I help someone? I thought that was a really interesting question.
It was a practitioner?
Yeah.
Do you train practitioners? Mm-hmm. You do?
Yeah. And so the answer is, I think that's like, God's built-in benefit.
That the joy is in the doing of it.
That's the gift. That's the gift you get. That you get to feel good on a number of different levels. Pride in yourself, that you get to, that's the gift.
When I used to teach acting, I would say like create for the sake of creating. Mm-hmm. Like you act for the joy of doing it.
Right.
Like go to the audition and like you get to play the role at the audition.
Yeah.
Happiness doesn't come because you got the role. You
right.
know, it's like, but if you're really sucking the marrow out of that role right then like, great, you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
So why isn't everyone dancing in the playground of their subconscious mind? Why isn't everyone getting into this 95%?
Because we've been, tricked to believe that this conscious world is the only truth, the only real reality. And we trick ourselves to believe that, right? Because we can't possibly take in all this information. Right? So our minds
it's a lot to take into 3D reality. Forget
Right.
about like all the other dimensions.
Right. Right. And like we have this reticular activating system and this confirmation bias. It's like we get 4,000 pieces of information a minute. And we're like, oh my God. Then we have this really sophisticated system that's like, okay, let me just take in the things that matter most, that are going to help align with your beliefs and your ego and what you believe. And it's like to actually, it can become really painful to say, oh my God, I got to break all that down now. And the truth is I'm full of shit.
Oh, wait, the truth is that it's all a lie? Oh.
And that like, to finally get to like bliss and love, but it's really painful. And so I don't think that when people want to step out of the facade.
You think people don't want to?
I think that when they listen to stuff like this, they become curious. But until it becomes painful enough that they go through even more pain to get to the other side, that's why we're talking, brings us back to the beginning. It's like the pain, like what pain teaches you is that you don't want to be in it. That's our biggest driver, is the avoidance of pain. So like you usually start delving into your subconscious mind when you're in the most amount of pain, because you're like, I have to go deeper now to get out of this. And so otherwise, happiness or some form of contentness is bliss, I guess.
If you imagine being on your deathbed slideshow.
Oh, good. Let's talk about death.
Well, this is not so much death as life, but I'm happy to talk about death.
I don't talk about it enough.
I agree. But let's imagine you're on your deathbed and you're playing the slideshow of your life.
Okay.
Like, what would be the things you feel most proud of in this work? Like, can you share a story or transformation where you're like, whoa, that one's going in the slideshow. I'm going to relive that one before I dissolve this illusion of reality.
I have a few people who like, I've seen them through kind of like complete despair into like thriving businesses, and then watching them like meet someone, like work it out, get married, and be happy. And I'm thinking of 3 people that's happened to now. And
did they come to you in complete despair?
They came to me just like lost and broken. I'm not saying that I completely fixed that, but like I helped along the way.
You Sherpa'd them through the tunnel.
I love, like, I now that like, and I just got a message that said, like, get your plane ticket for Dubai. We're getting married. And I was like, yes. I love that so much. So if I was to like close my eyes on my deathbed, I would be happy with those folks that I've kind of seen have huge life transitions. And then who's someone else extraordinary? That's what's happened. Yeah. No one's coming to mind.
This happens to me too. Like anytime I'm like writing a sales page or a web page, or like, Emily, just like, what are some testimonials? And I'm just like, boo.
I don't know.
It's 16 years, but like thousands and thousands of them. It's a high class problem where you're just like, it's actually the file's kind of full.
I have so many letters that come in. It's so heartwarming, but I don't know one particular thing.
Great. Well, we'll put the aggregate of it. So you said you wanted to talk about death. What do you want to talk about? How do you perceive death?
No, I just think that we need to talk about death more, right? It's just like
Why?
so taboo to talk about death.
Oh yeah, death and sex. It's my favorite.
But like we're literally dying.
Right now.
Yeah. And it could be tomorrow. It could be next year.
I wonder too, because when in sex, like orgasm in French is called le petit mort. It's the little death.
Little death.
So you're like practicing dying in meditation. You're practicing dying. It's why I think I like these two.
Every time we're going
modalities.
into nothing, we're going into the energy. We're going back into source, into soul, right? And yet no one wants to talk about death because we need it's the one thing that we don't have any, like we have both uncertainty and certainty around.
Ooh, I love that uncertainty and certainty. I've never heard
the
that
one thing
before.
that we have, everything that we could ever possibly we have, well, I think that with death, we have both uncertainty and certainty. and we don't know when it's going to happen, but we're sure that it is. And so it becomes this conflict and this thing that we can't talk about because we don't want to admit that it's going to happen. We're afraid of it.
Are you afraid of it?
No.
Always you've not been afraid, or you earned that?
I've never been afraid of death.
Really?
I've been afraid of living debilitated, but not of death.
Have you ever gotten to a point where the pain was so much you wanted to end it? Do you think that made you not afraid of death, or you already were not afraid of it?
No, I guess I was afraid of it enough where I didn't.
Yeah.
I've looked at the pill bottles and said, they give you so much medication that all I would have to do is put that down my throat. Mm-hmm. And I didn't.
Mm-hmm. But that doesn't necessarily mean it was out of fear of death. It could have been like a desire to live.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great reframe. That's NLP right there.
Did I do it?
You are natural.
Well, actually, now that I know what NLP is, I actually think that I studied in something very similar to it for like 7 years. I just wasn't called that, but it's like a speed therapy, or I call it like applied meditation, where you ask questions really, really quickly because the brain can receive a question faster than it can a statement.
Yeah.
And someone would just say like, what's up for you? Like, what's the emotion that's alive? And then I would just like get into their experience intuitively and then ask questions so they could clear the emotional charge and get to the truth.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of it. There's some nuances there, but that gets to it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I said like there are 1,000 ways to get into the subconscious mind and into energy itself. No one's creating anything new here, right? There are 1,000 different ways. Mm-hmm. And everything is impactful.
Do you have a favorite way?
Yeah, I use hypnosis a lot.
And can you talk to me about self-hypnosis?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you do it to yourself? Or do you have to be able to do it to someone else before you can do it to yourself?
No. Well, yes, I think you have to know you can learn to do it to yourself. And if you can do it to yourself, you could probably do it to someone else.
Okay, so most people learn on themselves. Most people learn on someone else.
And then they
do it to themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with self-hypnosis, it's about separating your mind and your body. So as you start to like think about something that floats and something that's heavy. And as you start to think about if your mind can float with each breath in, and your body even actually feels heavier with each breath out, then you can start to just play with that a little bit.
So it's like mind is floating up, your body is sinking down.
You want to do some disassociation from your mind and your body.
It's like mental ketamine.
Yeah. And then you can start to just notice that like, oh, like I can actually feel how heavy my legs are against this chair right now.
Do you want to do the session now? Do you want to do work on me now?
Sure.
Okay, great. And do you think hypnosis is the modality? Is that what you want to do? Or okay, great.
I mean, you meditate so much so you just go into a state immediately probably.
We'll
I don't
see.
know, maybe.
We'll
Who knows?
see.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever had a moment where nature just drops the exact message you need exactly when you need it? Maybe it's a reminder to slow down. Maybe it's a fresh perspective on something you've been stuck on, or just the perfect nudge to help you embody your highest self. Well, that is what I want to give you every single week. A dose of Ziva straight from my heart to yours. When you sign up for my emails, you're going to get first access to the downloads that are coming straight into my heart, access to science-backed tools to help you stress less and feel more alive. You're going to get a sneak peek into my personal practice and all the perks that we only share with our Ziva insiders. You're going to get podcast announcement and exclusive offers and invitation to our events before anyone else. And because I love a good thank you gift, if you sign up right now, you're going to get a special welcome gift just for signing up, and it's totally free. It just might be the very best thing you do for yourself today. So you can go to the link in the show notes or go to zivameditation.com/whythis to get a beautiful welcome gift and to receive these transmissions from my heart to yours every single week. So head to zivameditation.com/whythis, and I will see you in your inbox.
And what is it that you'd want to, is there anything you want to try to like get some tightness relief in your leg, or is there anything that you're feeling?
Physically?
Mentally, physically, emotionally?
So is there anything I'd like to shift?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you want to work on your body?
Yeah, I think so. That's feeling very alive, like this tightness in my left lower back that is leading to like numbness in my right leg.
And you think that's coming from your neck?
I don't know if it's coming from the stenosis or the QL holding. My guess is the left lower back.
Because you feel tightness in your left lower back right now.
No, I don't feel it right now. Like right now it feels neutral and good. But if I were to stand up or move or do something, and physically, like it is like my left muscles are like a ball, like a fist, and the other one's like a piece of paper.
A tightened fist. Good. And so I have a couple questions for you. So if you close your eyes, and if you look at your hand first and then close your eyes, can you see an image of your hand? Okay, good. You can open your eyes. And so if I was to scold you, would the tone of my voice affect you more than the words that I said?
Yes.
Okay. And so have you ever woken up at night and not been able to walk?
Like sleep paralysis?
Yeah. Have you ever walked in your sleep?
No.
Okay. Do you ever get in an argument or say something and wish you had said something else and think about it for many days?
Yes.
When you feel emotions, are they in your body, or do you think about them first, or do you feel it first?
I feel it first.
Okay. And so like when you feel love or anger, you can feel it in your body. Okay. And so if I was to say, here's a really, really ripe lemon that is so juicy and so sour, and I'm going to cut it, and I want you to take a bite of it and drink this really sour lemon juice and let it fill your mouth and drink it. Does your mouth start to salivate? Okay, good. All right, good. So if you just look straight up, try to look into your eyebrow.
Eyes open?
Yeah, eyes open. Just try to look into your eyebrow. And now continue to look up and just shut your eyelids while you're continuing to look up. Good. And now just release them and open your eyes again. And you can just look up again. Good. And then you can just release. And now if you just raise your hand like this, really comfortable. And I'm going to cosmically, energetically tap on your middle finger there. And all I want you to do is look at your middle finger. And as you look at your middle finger, the tip of it, I wonder if you can also notice all the other things that you can see out of the corners of your eyes. As you start to open and expand to all the things and you listen to my voice, I wonder if there's anything else that you can hear, even if it's just the sound of your own breath. And as you start to focus there and we start to allow, simply allow, you may notice that your eyes start to blink more. And as I start to talk to your subconscious mind in this rhythm and this allowance, you simply know. You simply notice that your eyes blink more and your breathing changes. But also your fingers start to spread slowly at first, and then just simply allowing your hand to move and twitch and move. As you simply notice that I'm pulling a string from your forefinger and your pinky, and as I pull that string, I pull your fingers so far apart, so beautifully, and giving yourself permission to have the control of your own subconscious mind. And as you experience this, you just simply sink now. And as you do, and your fingers just simply spread further and further, twitching and shaking, moving and opening, allowing. Okay, you can put your hand down now. Cross your fingers like this. Open your two fingers like this. Spread them as far apart as possible. Lift them up so your thumbs are in front of your nose and that you're looking up at the space between your fingers. And as you look at the space between your fingers, just simply also notice all the things that you can see out of the corners of your eyes. And as you notice all the things that you can see out of the corners of your eyes, and also listen to my voice, you start to notice that your fingers start to naturally want to come together. And as they start to naturally want to come together, as if I was tying a string around them and pulling them together, they simply come closer and closer, even more, further and further, more now. And as they do, your eyes get heavier and heavier, and as they touch, your eyes will simply close and your hands will fall gently on your lap, all the way down as your fingers touching, your hands falling gently on your lap, going a little bit deeper now. And my voice goes with you, almost as if there is a warm energy coming into the top of your head. And as that warm energy comes into the top of your head, it releases and relaxes all the muscles in your forehead, As it flows down around your eyes, it releases and relaxes all the muscles around your eyes, all the nerves behind your eyes, all the muscles in your eyelids, closing them even tighter. It's almost as if I put a warm mud mask on your face, and as that warm, heavy, beautiful mud mask just starts to be applied to your eyes, it just becomes so heavy, so comforting. Your back will stay completely straight, as will your neck, but you'll just allow your body to sink down the warmth of the mask and mud. And as it does get warmer and warmer, heavier and heavier, as mud masks do, they just start to dry. And as they do dry, they pull out all the toxins in your body, all the emotional toxins, all the physical toxins, all the chemical toxins. And as mud masks dry, they simply harden. And as they harden, they simply seal your eyes shut. In fact, you may even try to open your eyes, but the harder you try, the harder it becomes until you simply go down now, deep sleep. Good. All the way down. For the purposes of hypnosis, each and every time I say deep sleep, you go quickly, calmly, and easily to this depth or even deeper, open to suggestions for your own highest good. That's right. If you can see, visualize, or imagine you're standing on a beautiful vista, the most gorgeous, beautiful vista you've ever seen, overlooking the blue, blue sky. Perhaps there's a cloud in that sky. And as that cloud moves across, you go a little bit deeper and more connected. Perhaps there's a bird in the distance, and as that bird in the distance makes a sound, and you realize that it's there. Perhaps there's even the smell of the sea or pine that you can smell in the air. And as you do notice that you are here in complete peace and openness, you realize that it's not because you're in nature, it's because you are nature. Anything looking down at you would know that you are not separate, you are one with it, you are the same oxygen in the air, you are the same salt in the sea, the same minerals in the mountains, you're the same DNA as many of the animals, and as such you are naturally aligned. You are nature itself, and this peacefulness that flows through you now is the energy of nature, just as the air feeds the trees and the trees clean the air and the sun feeds the fruit and the fruit feeds the soil. You are in natural symphony, a natural harmony, a natural part of you. And as you feel this filling with you, the energy of it opening, allowing, you can simply notice that there's a gentle path down from this beautiful scenic vista, and you just have to take one step and the next step follows. You don't have to take all the steps at once. You just take one, take them with you. 10, going down now. 9, even deeper. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, all the way down now, deep sleep. Good. Here, down here, you can simply float. Float in the most comfortable place for you. And as you float down here, all the tension in your body just releases like a fist releasing and turning to paper. As the fingers of that fist, one by one, simply release, so does all the muscles in your body. In fact, your subconscious mind controls your body. And there are many parts of your body that things happen and hold on to. And for some time, you've been holding on to some things with your own body. And as you've been holding on to those things have created tension or tightness. But most of all, they've created some fear within you. And now you can let that go. You can recognize what it's given to you. You can recognize that it's been part of you and that you can just simply allow it to leave, thanking it for what it's been trying to tell you, blessing it for it giving to you, and allowing it to simply go now. And instead, in its place, it's almost like a wave of energy as it flows like the ocean, that wave building at high tide, come crashing down on the beach itself, that flowing suppleness of the air. For after all, you are the nature, you are the elements, you are the energy. And as it does, it simply releases one by one all the muscles in your neck, one by one all the muscles in your back. And as it does, releasing one by one down through your back and through your spine And through all those parts of you that may be a closed fist, it turns into supple, blowing air. And as it does, it also releases the pain and instead flows in excitement. Excitement for opportunity. And I wonder what could be that opportunity next, because with joy brings a whole new feeling, allowing it to release now, allowing the joy to flow in. And with that joy, you have excitement. Excitement for a new beginning, your new beginning, a new feeling, a new potential. And as that potential comes in, that feeling of excitement comes in, and that feeling of flow of paper in your body as that opens and allows every part of you, every part of your body to simply be at ease. And when it is at ease, it simply regains natural function. In fact, we have all the chemicals in our body that we need to have a natural function. We have all the chemicals in our body that we need to release difficult things, to heal things. It's been shown many, many times that just by focusing on an area and controlling the biggest pharmacy in the world, which is your body, you can have such miraculous changes. In fact, those changes are taking part now, aren't they? And as they do, just the relaxation and the noticing of it, it becomes more and more today, and even more tomorrow. And as you do, you start to notice a color. It's the color green. And as you breathe in through your nose such deep breaths, that green fills every part of your body. And it reminds you of that time, that most beautiful time that you were with closest friends or family, or perhaps it was an intimate time, as that most beautiful, exciting, that made you feel connected and happy and joyful. And every time you see this image now in your mind, this place, seeing their faces, seeing the connectedness of it, the love of it, the green of it. And as you take a breath, this green fills every cell in your body. In fact, every time that it comes into another cell, it bleeds over into the next cell, into your muscle fibers, tissues, bones, and every other part of your body. It becomes your fascia, this green. And as you breathe in more and it starts to spread all the way through you, it releases what needs to be released, heals what needs to be healed, but also it brings up even more vivid the laughter of the best friend. You may have been young, but you can remember and feel that laughter now. Perhaps you couldn't stop laughing. Perhaps this green, as it does flow through you, remember that scene of what you were laughing at. And as you bring it brighter and brighter and brighter, that laughter grows. You can feel it in your stomach even. And as you can feel it in your stomach, I wonder what was so funny. I wonder if someone snorted or made a funny laugh. I wonder if someone spit something. I wonder what you were looking at. And as you start to notice it, it becomes so funny now. In fact, you can't help but smile. Smile as that scene becomes brighter, more real, more part of you, as the oxytocin starts to flow through your body so powerfully. It's so vivid as that laughter turning up 1, 2, 3 to maximum decibels as it goes through you, funneling that green laughter through anything. In fact, anytime that you see green today, you will simply remember this scene and start to laugh. And your body will feel light, as if the fist has been released. Noticing, allowing, becoming, accepting what you need to accept, and integrating all those things that need to be integrated, and starting to come back to us now. Feeling your hands and feet coming right back to us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes wide open and awake.
Wow. I was very, very deep, very relaxed. I think I was maybe anticipating more of an on-ramp.
More of a what?
like I feel like I was like in the infinite field of everythingness, and they're like, and we're back.
I brought you right back, so you can still feel a little bit more of an off-ramp. Is that what you meant?
An off-ramp, that's it. That was like a long, luxurious like foreplay, and then it was like, and we're done. I was like, okay.
Pulling you right back out
of there. When I finished meditating, I take like a long 2 minutes, but whoa, that was beautiful and relaxing.
Some things that I suggested, you may recognize and remember them consciously, but like other things are stories that your subconscious mind will, without you knowing it, grab hold onto.
Thank you so much for sharing your gifts with me. That was delicious. And I just, as I do the intro, is it cool for people at home to do that with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so they can just put their hands together, look in between them, and take the journey, and they can just supplant instead of their back, they get anything that they want to shift.
Of course.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, Jim, it's so good to like swim in your mastery. Is there anything that you wish that I had asked you? Anything you want to share that we did not touch on?
No, I think we covered a lot.
We really did. We
got
really
some
did.
good stuff. Right?
So I'm sure that people are like falling in love with you. They want to know where they can work with you. Like, where do people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at JimCurtis1. Mm-hmm. Or, yeah, I'm all over social media. Or, and you can, my website is jimcurtis1.com.
Mm-hmm. What's the significance of the one? Just Jim Curtis
Jim
was
Curtis
taken?
wasn't available.
I often think about the new generations and we're like, like Emily Fletcher, 4,622. We won't be doing websites then, but
No, but then we'll just all have chips in our brains.
that's right.
So that's, and I'm always doing something. So I don't have anything really. I have books and stuff like that. But
What are your books?
I have a book called The Stimulati Experience.
Stimulati?
Mm-hmm. That's an Italian word for to stimulate.
Anything to do with the Illuminati or no?
No,
Okay.
nothing. It's
Separate?
just poor naming.
Or the best naming?
One or the other.
I think it's the best.
And then I have a new workbook out that's called Shift, Coding Consciousness. That has a bunch of hypnosis in it.
In a workbook?
Yeah, you put QR codes and recorded a bunch of hypnosis and then had like work stuff to do on the other pages.
Okay. Truly, what a delight. You're a delight of a human. I love your presence, the depth of your presence, the breadth of your presence. How, on a scale of 1 to melty, how do you feel?
10.
10?
10 melty. This was what I loved about this was a real conversation instead of just me being an expert answering a bunch of questions.
Yeah, I just interrupted you with a lot of crazy tales.
Yeah, so good. Right? So much fun.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad you had fun.
Yeah, I did. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we love you. Thank you so much for spending your time and your attention with us. I hope that you enjoyed that hypnosis that we got to do together. I hope that you took away something that the aha moments for you become your new baseline, that you really take with you this idea that we can dance and play with 95% of our consciousness, and that really what we're handling most of the time is just 5% of our reality. So definitely check out Jim and his work. If you had an aha, snapshot this. We already told you we both have social media addiction, so find us on Instagram at JimCurtis1, at Ziva Meditation. Tell us what you learned. Let's share this media as medicine out to the world. You can leave us a 5-star rating if you really want to get fancy. And I'll see you next week on Why Isn't Everyone Doing This? I love you.